What up, everybody? This is Derek Larger, and today we'll be talking about a couple of big topics that have happened over the last 3 days, with LaMelo Ball scoring 92 points and Charles Oakley, being ejected from the Knicks Stadium last night. And I will maybe touch on a couple of other topics after I discuss the two, but those are going to be the two primary topics for today's discussion. And before I begin my discussion, I want to make sure you all subscribe. Make sure you're telling your friends about it, people on social media. If you want any of my social media or anything like that, just be sure to contact me. Please leave a comment on suggestions on to do with videos. I do have some extra stuff I can put into these videos to make it a little bit more fun. If anything, just let me know. So, we will first talk about LaMelo Ball, who earlier this week had scored 92 points for Chino Hills in a shootout of all games. Now, LaMelo Ball claims that this performance was entitled to a friend of his, and he dedicated the performance to him. Now, at first, many people were in shock by how amazing that performance and those numbers show. But then people started looking to the tapes and started realizing that sometimes he was cherry picking, so to speak, meaning he wasn't barely coming across half court and playing no defense throughout the game. So I'm here to give you my opinion on what I saw. I was just like everyone else. I looked at it at first and I was like, 92 points. Man, that is crazy. Like, does that even happen? Like, that doesn't happen. And then I looked at the tape. I looked at some of the highlights. And one thing that astonished me is that nearly just under 50% of the shots that he took in that game were in quote-unquote cherry picking. He went 7 of 22 from the three-point line, shooting a 30% from the field, which isn't a very good percentage. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, he can shoot the three ball. I know he can. He can shoot very well, but he did only shoot 30%. He shot it 22 times. I mean, teams nowadays don't even shoot that many per game, let alone he's shooting it all by himself. And he only shot 30%, so it wasn't a good performance from down deep. And when he was cherry picking, so to speak, I would say roughly about, a little over half his shots were inside the paint. He scored most of his inside shots on layups. And a couple of these were not a result of what I would call cherry picking. There were a lot of plays where I saw him make some great plays, where he was triple teamed, yes, a couple times where he did come down to play maybe some defense and then take the ball down the court. But I looked at it, and I can point out specifically at least 10 shots that showed he didn't even cross half court. So, anyone that I don't like talking about it because I hear people say, oh, he's a sophomore in high school. I get it. He's only a sophomore in high school. But he is Lonzo Ball's brother. And everything he does is going to get dramatized astonishingly high. And, I like him. He's a great player. I think he's definitely going to make a team great one day. He's going to make a team good in college. But I think the defensive pride thing is one thing I didn't like. I didn't like it. I don't like it. Me personally, as myself, when I like to play basketball, especially when I was playing in high school, I wasn't LaMelo Ball's caliber, not even close, but I prided myself on playing defense, and I didn't like how he didn't play defense. And then it comes down to the coach. Why didn't the coach take the time to tell LaMelo, you got to play defense, son. I mean, you can't just shoot a shot and then walk to half court and then just go and run to the other side of the court and catch the ball and shoot a layup. You can't do that. That's like rec ball. That's rec ball at BGSU. You get that one guy that always loves to just camp out at the end of the court and just every time there's an offense, he'll just throw it down there, you catch it and shoot a layup. Like, I blame, honestly, the coach more than the player because I get it, LaMelo Ball's trying to make himself look great, which he is great, but I mean, I hate that the coach allowed this to happen. He didn't do anything to stop it. He expressingly let this happen and didn't even bother to say anything to LaMelo. So this is going to be a constant debate on who's more at fault for this. Is LaMelo really worth the hype? Is his lack of defense going to hurt him one day? I would just like to say this. He's a high schooler. He is a high schooler. He's a sophomore in high school. He's got 2 more years of high school before he gets anywhere, even before he gets into even college. And he's not going to the NBA right out of the high school. There's no way. He's not good enough. He's not athletic enough. He's not big enough. But he does have those few years to get himself better. And I definitely think that that would be something I'm looking forward to. But I put more emphasis on the coach than on LaMelo Ball. Bam! All right, we're moving on to the next segment. We're going to move on to the big topic of this morning, which was Charles Oakley being apprehended and arrested by the New York Knicks security staff at the game. So, as most of you know, he was approached by a bunch of security officers in the at the Knicks game, was confronted and was constantly saying why did he have to leave because of the fact that he bought a ticket. And so the man put his hands on him. Charles Oakley fought back, and so they apprehended him and carried him off the court and carried him to jail, where he was released a couple hours later. And the New York Knicks sent out a statement saying that Charles Oakley has been apprehended and arrested for coming to the stadium and acting in an abusive and inappropriate behavior. He was a great Knick, and we hope he gets help soon. Mind blown. Mind blown. I mean, all I can say is just, wow. I mean, let's just get one thing straight here. Charles Oakley does have a bad temperament problem. I will give him that. It wasn't right for him to act that way when he was being apprehended by security. I get it. He shouldn't have acted that way. He should have handled it a lot better. But when you're being asked to leave for almost absolutely nothing, and the owner was basically the one that called security to get him thrown out, because Dolan was sitting a few rows to the side in front of Oakley. So he was watching this whole thing go down while this was happening. And you could hear the Knicks fans in the audience just going nuts. They were loving it because, believe it or not, is the best moment that the Knicks have had in Madison Square Garden this whole season. So now the topic of the matter is this worse for Charles Oakley or is it worse for the New York Knicks? And most people have been saying it's the New York Knicks because players have been defending Charles Oakley. LeBron James, of all people, Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul, and even Draymond Green. A couple of these other guys and Reggie Miller was one of the recent ones to come out. He was specifically stating, if you're looking to become a player here, why would you want to work for an organization where the owner disrespects past players and won't even shake their hands. Charles Oakley, when he got out of prison today, said that he talked to Stephen A. Smith and specifically stated the owner wouldn't even shake his hand. The owner wouldn't even give him a ticket to the game. Oakley has to pay for his tickets to the game. He basically despises Oakley. I get it. I get it. Oakley is a wild individual. I get it. It's in his nature. He's not a great, role model. He's not a great role model. But when you talk about an ideal basketball player, the man was a rough rider. He was a dirty player. He did all the dirty work underneath. And sure enough, if you mess with one of his players, you better watch out because Charles Oakley is coming to the rescue. And obviously, I didn't get to see him play. I haven't. It's far beyond my pay grade. But from what I've seen from highlights of him, he definitely did all the work inside. And especially for players like Michael Jordan was a teammate of Michael Jordan's for a while before, and he was more famous as being a Knick. Anyway, I don't like what I'm seeing from the Knicks. They're losing games left and right. You got Phil Jackson over here on a tirade trying to make Carmelo Anthony seem like he's the worst person in the world and the worst basketball player in the world. You got a dysfunctional team that can't win games after one of your players thought they were a super team. And now you got the owner basically putting Charles Oakley into a worse position. It's a train wreck in Madison right now. It's a train wreck. And my only hope is that the New York Knicks fans do not give up hope. Because that's honestly all they got right now. And what they saw from Charles Oakley was the most fight that they've seen out of the Knicks all season. Maybe for like the last 5 years. I don't know. It's going to take a little while to see what else happens in the New York Knicks organization. But I will be keeping a close eye on them and keeping an eye on what might happen with that organization later on. So that will be my last subject for today. I will continue to feed you guys more information on other things going on around the world of sports. Those were two of the big highlights today. And, before I do go, I do have one thing to say about the Dallas Cowboys fans out there. Guess what? Jerry Jones is going to ruin your season next year. And I will tell you why. Jerry Jones went onto the phone this morning talking to a radio show, 105.3, and specifically told them this offense for this Dallas Cowboys team was built for Tony Romo. Yep, you heard it here first. More likely than not, Jerry Jones is trying his absolute best to make sure Tony Romo is the starter for next year's first game of the season. Now, I hate Jerry Jones just because I don't like the owner that he is. He's a great business guy, don't get me wrong. He definitely knows how to make box office. But this is hurting the Cowboys more than it's helping them. Jerry Jones loves Tony Romo like a son. And unfortunately, that leads to questions. Are they ever going to trade Tony Romo? Are they going to cut him? Or are they actually going to let him finish out his career inside the Dallas Cowboys organization? But I feel bad for Dak Prescott. And I wish that there was something else I could tell him. And I hope that Jason Garrett gets an idea in his head and does this. Don't listen to Jerry Jones. And please keep Dak Prescott in the starting lineup. Because Vegas odds have them going to the Super Bowl next year with Dak Prescott as the quarterback. Put Tony Romo in that mix. They're not going anywhere. They're going to fall down a cliff, and it's going to waste a good year of Ezekiel Elliott, that offensive line, Des Bryant, and that young defense that is getting better. Because Tony Romo, mark my words, people, Tony Romo will not win a Super Bowl for the rest of his career. He will never win one. He hasn't won one yet. He will not win one. He will not win a Super Bowl as long as he is on that Dallas squad. I will call it right here, right now. So that will be my last topic of the day. I hope you all enjoyed. Be sure to leave a comment. And I tried to put some effects in here today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you don't, let me know. If you do and you want me to try something more of it, please let me know. I am Derek Larger. Until next time, peace.